This is Irontrader. This is the last call of the day, end of the week here. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. So we'll take a look at the indexes, which are pretty green except for the old Dow. Now remember, next week is going to be a lot of earnings on the 28th. You got Microsoft, Meta, and you got Tesla. On the 29th, you got Apple. That could be the set the tone for the old market. Okay, at the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for natural gas and crude oil, along with the Baker Hughes rig count. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy or sell your stock. Covered TF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, here we have Bitcoin. Now you can see Bitcoin was it was working like a circus monkey here today, but look where it went. Right into resistance. See, this is why you trade the charts. Okay, see how nice that is? Okay, went right into there. Okay, right there, your first resistance, 91.96. There's your 50 day. We have your 21 day at 91.07. Okay, that's exactly what we have to have. 91.096, 91.07. 91.11 now, but right here, that's strong resistance. Obviously, you get poked up, but so far we haven't been able to close ahead. Now we get above that. Then we're looking at that 8 day at that a 92.813 level, and then what we'll do is we'll come right to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 94.395. We look to the top there at 95.600 level. We'll come up there at 96.60, and then we're looking for that 98.200 level. That would be your breakout. Now you look at this, look low, higher low situation. So you still have an uptrending chart going on here, and we have a series now here of higher high and higher high situation. So don't get too excited with this here as I'm saying, oh, this is going to sell right off here. So remember, just trade the charts. Now, if we can get above that 98.200, then we want to look here right on the weekly chart. 108.77 is your target, and then right there is 101.310. We get above that, you got 102, it's your 100-day, and your 200-day, 104. See how simple that is? Keep your charts simple, okay? 8-day, 21-day, 50-day, 100-day, 200-day. That's all you need. All these blue lines are just price channels. You got RSI, you got MACD. You can put the volume on there. That's all you really need here. You don't need 50 indicators. You don't need to pay for this and pay for that. That's all nonsense, okay? Just you go to Schwab here. These are Thinkorswim charts. They're still the best. I've used every charting system possible. Been doing this for over 2.5 decades. So just make yourself easy. The more you do this, the easier you make your life here. The more money you put in your pocket. Like here, really nice trade. As soon as it went to the 100-day or 50 and 21-day, boom, I took the trade off. Just that simple. Okay, then if it gets higher, I can always jump into it and get to the 8-day. If it goes above that, well, then I know exactly where we're going to be retesting at a 98.200 level. Now, on the downside here, we want to watch yesterday's low. That is 88.490, and then we want to come to the bottom there at 87.270, and then we have that retest at 86.380. Now, we lose that, we'll come right down here. You're looking at 84.505. We come down here at 84.120, and then 87.50. Boom, that's your big target. Now we're sitting here at 45. That's not overbought, oversold. The green is in the red. This is just looks like a duck trying to kiss her up here a little bit. So that doesn't really mean anything right now. Let's just see what happens next week if we get above that 50-day, that 21-day, and that 8-day. Now, a lot of reason why Bitcoin is just a sideways situation is because they were supposed to make some kind of agreement like in Congress, set rules up, regulation. They didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's just kind of sitting here because it's kind of like the unknown area. Okay. So right now here, you can see where the 100-day is holding very, very nice. Came down below it, but we closed above it, and look at this week here. So far, we are above it very, very nicely. That's the key level, 87.515. We lose it, you got that 87.50 target. We lose that, we come to the bottom there, 78.675. We'll come to the bottom there, 76.35, and then here's the big retest all the way down here at that 74.635. That's going to be key. Now, we look at the RSI here. That's 41. That's not overbought, oversold. The green is still your below your red, but the bars are starting to move up here, and we're holding that key 100-day, and we still have an uptrending chart. Okay, so trade this. That's the key right now. We start losing these levels at 86. We start losing at 87.50. Yeah, then you can jump in that short. BITI, very, very nice, very, very easy trade. BITX, really good mover, good scalping situation. Okay, I'll give you an example. BITX there got as low as 27.78 and got as high as 29.52. Okay, so you really had a good a point and a half there you could get, and it's only sitting there in the 20s. You can buy 5,000 shares. Very, very nice. Now on Fridays, I cut the position down from 5,000 down to 2,500 to 3,000, but I've been trading the 3,000 shares, so that seems to be working out very, very nicely. So let's just see what happens next week. But we got to get back above that 50-day, that 21-day, and the key level is going to be that 8-day. Once we get above that, we have a nice good target up there at that 98 200, which is the nice retest. Okay, let's take a look here at gold and silver. Okay, gold and silver breaking out. Okay, so I said looking at that 49.89 level. I said way down here, we're looking for that 530 to 5,000 that they want to take it to, and that's where I believe it is. Okay, so we got to see once it gets up to that 5,000 mark, which we'll see if it is. But again, look at this price channel, see how the price is outside of that whole channel. Eventually, just want to come in here and wait for that 8-day to catch up, a little consolidation. Okay, just like we had here, got outside, and then we had that drop. Okay, and then we just kind of wait here. But just be careful with this. We are really at nosebleed areas here. You're way up here at the 81 area. So for me, just a long trade. Okay, so I still got the GLD rolling here. And now at the end of the day, I'll probably take it off. And then Sunday night, you can jump right back into it. Very, very easy here. But right now, I'm just still looking for that 5,000 mark and see what happens when you get there. Once you close above 5,000, well, then we're just going to keep on continuing on up here. You know, you got to start hitting for that 5,100, 52, 5,500. You know what I mean? That's just how that works. But the 5,000 usually is a psychological round kind of a number here, okay? But everything here is nosebleed, just like I've been trying to tell you here. Okay, now the negative divergence, that's gone. And we're just rallying up here, okay? So again, your price is above all the simple moving averages, which is very, very bullish, okay? But eventually, this will end, okay? Just don't get caught at the top. Now, silver is the same way, still along the SLV. This is working out very, very nice. I'm looking for the 100 area. Once you crack that even 100 area, then I should say now you got the 101.90. Now, what did I say when we're down here? I said we're looking for the fibs of 100 and then to 105. That's going to be your level on when you do the fibs up to 105. And then we have to see exactly where we stand once we hit that area up there. But right now, SLV is the old trade. Downside, well, you know, we watched yesterday's high, 96.73, and then we have that 8-day. But right now, we're just a parabolic move going to the upside. Just don't get caught at the top, because once this settles down, this thing will sit there for years and years and years and years. So just don't get caught at the top, because when I take this chart out here, you see what you got? I mean, this is like absolute moonshot. And I remember crude oil going 149, came down, retested 144, 145, and then when she broke, you got to a negative 27. I remember the wheat stock, Tilray. Okay, it was the same kind of a parabolic move. I sold out. I put a stop loss in there at 295. It got all the way up to 300. I didn't get the top. 300. What are you sitting at now? $2? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that's what silver is going to happen to silver again, but there's going to be a limit to where the silver is going to go. And I know it's in everything, especially like all of this AI, but there's going to be a limit to where that's going to go, where you're going to stop production on a lot of things. You're going to say, hey, this becoming unaffordable now kind of a situation. Just remember what happened with crude oil. When you start getting into that 140, 30, 40, almost 150 level, the same thing happened to that. Okay, let's take a look here now at crude oil. All right, here we have the old crude ski going here, okay? So here's your daily chart. Now, again, jumped right into the UCO. Very, very nice, okay? Yesterday, we had the short going on here, but when I seen this bottoming tail, see how that started to rise up there? That told me I got to get out of that short, and I went out of the short. And today, I went back into the UCO because we went back out. I got a little bit late because when that we were below this morning, below that 100-day and that 8-day, but once we start climbing above, I had to jump right back in. Now, the reason I went short here is because look at the top of that candle. 60.82. Look to the left of the chart here. 60.89. It couldn't get above that. So that tells me that's a good shorty. But you got to know where to take it off. This is a trade. That's all this is. Two-way trade. Okay? Long and short. That's what you have. Now we have this green candle. We held that portion right there, okay, which was very good. It never came down and retested that low of yesterday. It just held that nice closing portion, which was that 59.67 level, okay? So you hit 59.52, went just a little bit lower, and then she started rising, told me I got to get into the UCO. So I'm still in there, and I'm just waiting to see how at the end of the day. But the key level that's going to be going on top here is going to be watching this level at 61.50, but realistically, right there at 200. That is everything. 62.16, that's going to be very key. And then we can have the retest there at that 36 level, okay? But just watch right there, 62.16. Now, when we get above it, that's where we want to put a look at the weekly chart, because there's your next target is 63.14, okay? That's going to be it. That's your 50 SMA here. Now, you can see how strong this 50-day is. Boom, right into it, and then into it, and nothing happened, okay? So just watch that 50-day. That would be next if we can crack above that 200-day. Now, We crack above that. Well, 66.42. That's your target. And that's the candle right there. 66.42. Okay. So again, we can a lot of stuff to go on up here though, because we can just break this off here. We crack above that. You get 70.51, and we can go all the way up here to that 76.79 level, which is your 200 SMA. So always look at the weekly chart. It gives you a lot of good benefits out of it, even though we are a downtrending situation. Okay, you can see this downtrending situation. Once you start rolling up, that doesn't mean that just because you're in a downtrend that you can't retest these levels also. Okay, so that's the key. The same way with this. Just watch that 200-day. That's going to be very, very key. Now, on the downside, right there, your sport, 60-20. That's your 8-day. We have that 60.05. That's your 100-day. And then we looked at today's low at 59.52. Then we have 58.80. There's your 21-day. And then we have your 50-day sitting there at, let's see what we got here, okay, at 58.62. Now, if you look at the API and EIA report, there's nothing with supply and demand here, okay? This has a lot to do with Iran situation going on here now, okay? So as soon as Iran gets the money, they start cracking wise, and they want us to do the nuclear weapons. They want to do this, do that. T-Man does not like that, okay? So that's the situation. Just remember like last time, okay? What did they do? They got a little bit of money. They attacked Israel, okay? And that was right up here. This was that war premium. That was right here. Iran, Israel. Okay, so that's what they do. I don't know why these people just don't say, hey, let's just pump oil. Let's just, get along. Hell, these people, we live like kings. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Anyway, the big brouhaha going on there in Iran whole situation, that's a big thing. So once the U.S. jumps up, you could push oil higher, even though there's a total glut going on right with oil right now. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here now at natural gas. All right, natural gas, okay, been a very good trade. UNG for the long. Yesterday, I put a stop loss on UNG right here, just underneath that 549 level, okay? Now, you notice it couldn't hold it. It put a big topping tail in there, came around on down, but it closed right here, okay, at this level here, okay? So basically what I was watching is this left of the chart here, 4.68. Now, you can see where it held at. That situation. So what I do is I took the short right off, okay? I had no position. Now today it came down lower, but then you can see the rise in it. So UNG was a good scalp, okay? So UNG got as low as 13.70, high as 14.17 today. I got 30 cents out of it, okay? So I'm only trading 3,000 shares, but that was pretty good there for that situation, okay? So again, this is just a two-way trade, but this is all weather related, okay? So you had a huge draw down there in the old natural gas here this week here. But again, this weather is not going to last. This is going to blow through, and then natural gas is going to come down. They don't call this the widowmaker for nothing. So trade this, okay? So on the downside, what we're watching is the top of that candle at 509, okay? We'll watch the bottom of yesterday's candle, 476, and then today's at that 466 level. Then we can venture down right to the top of that candle, 442, and then we have your 50-day at 422. Okay. Now, on the upside here, well, what we're looking for, just look right to the left of the chart. This is it right here. 520. That's what we're looking for right now. Your next level is got to get and close above that 549. Then we can have the retest of 565. Okay. So you say, well, where do we get the 565? All you got to do is look to the left of the chart. See how that price channel went up and then it hooked in? Look to the top of that card. What do we have? 565. Where did it go? 565. So everything you need to know right here, right here. Okay. So right there, 565. Now we start getting above that. We follow those candles up here. Next level is 596. Next level is going to be 628. And then we come up here to that 646 level. Okay. Just that simple. Then we can actually rocket all the way up here to that 710. We can go 742, and then we can have that 760. But right now, you got yourself just a short squeeze going on here. Okay, that's what we had here. And then when you see a little bit of weather, people have to get out of them shorts. You got to take the long, and it squeezes the hell right out of it. Okay, so again, look to the left of the chart. Everything you need to know. So right now, there it is. There's that 5 right there. Okay, so 565. Next level, I should just venture right on up until we hit that 646 level, and then we can just take it right on higher. Just bring the price channels across, kind of a situation. On the downside here, you got to watch this bottom of yesterday's candle, today's candle, and then we're really watching that 50 SMA here if it does sell off, kind of a situation. But remember, situations like this never last. It's just a one big green candle, and then when that comes off, she comes off and comes off very hard. So again, two-way trade. UNG for the long, KLD for the short. Really, really working nice. All right, take a look at the indexes. All right, here we have the Dow. Okay, now the Dow is a little bit of a laggard today. It was wrapping up pretty nice yesterday, but where did it go? Okay, we got as high as 49,607. Okay, that ain't making it. You need 49,633. You got to close above that. Okay, see how nice these price channels work? All you do is click it on and say, wow, look at there. Okay, everything is sitting right there. That's what you need. 49,633. Went into it, nothing. Now today came down, went through the 8-day. Where'd it go? Right there. Look at that. You can't get more perfect than what the chart is, okay? So remember, these charts here, the 8-day, 21-day, 50, 100-day, 200-day, okay, I got a friend in Chicago, and I got a hedge fund buddy there in New York. They use the same charts, okay? That's the same chart. All these people use the same chart. You can use all these indicators and I'm projected to go here and projected to go there. It's all nonsense. Keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. That's how you make money. So on the downside, watch that key 21-day. We lose it. We come down the bottom of that candle there, 423, and then we have that 50 right there. Then we have that retest. Then we have the 100-day. Then you could come all the way down there, kind of a situation. Okay. Now, you can see here, this is only 53. That's an overbought or sold, but the green never crossed over your red. It's looking on the way down. Okay. Now we have the S&P. Well, this was rallying good, but where is it? Stuck right there, right at that 69.13 level. Okay, and we have that 69.09. That's what you got to do. That's what we got decided. We get above that, we come to yesterday's high, 69.34. We can venture up to 69.67, and then 69.86. That's the big test. You crack that, you're going to at that 7,000 mark. Okay, on the downside here, just watch that 50-day. Okay, watch that retest, 67.89. Watch that 100-day. We lose that, we come all the way down here. Very, very easy. Now, this is not overbought, oversold. Okay, everything's the same way. The green is going sideways. There's nothing really, really wrong or right with it. It's just kind of sideways action. Now, NASDAQ. Now, NASDAQ is going to be very, very key next week. I say a lot of earnings. Meta, Microsoft, Tesla, Apple, all the big boys. Now, NVIDIA isn't coming out here till the 25th, so they're going to kind of lose some of that. But again, that could set the tone for this market. Now, I still believe that we're going to get ourselves a really, really good correction going here of at least good 10% is what I think. Now, but I think it's going to be here after the earnings. We got to see how that's going to set the tone. Now, remember, on Meta, they'll have good numbers, but the key is guiding and that spending that they're doing. They're spending like drunken sailors. Okay, now, here we are. Okay, we want to watch on the downside. You want to watch that 21-day, 23,472. We want to watch that 8-day at 23,420, and then that 50-day at 23,269. Next is going to be that 100-day right there. You can see how important it is. Look how nice it held it. We start losing that, and we come to the bottom of that candle at 22,692, and we can work yourself all the way on down here, okay? But again, we got to break above this here, this level here, this 23,813 before we can attest that 24,091, okay? But again, I just think a correction is not only coming, something is big as seems like it wants to happen here. You probably won't expect it, and they say, okay, we're going to have this sell-off. So just get prepared, okay, in case this does collapse, because we've had a big V-shaped recovery, and we're just kind of shaking around here now. And that's always just a little bit of nerve-wracking when you kind of see that situation there, say. So again, just be prepared. You always use stop losses, okay? So I try to instill that with you, is use stop losses. Take profits, okay? Just like TQQ today. I just took profits. It got up to 55.07. I didn't get the high. I got 54.85. Boom. I'm out of the trade, okay? I'm going to go on a weekend. We'll see what happens next week. Kind of a situation. Remember, a lot of tech going on here, and then always this news, Venezuela, Greenland, Iran. There's always news that can affect these markets. All right, this weekend, great football games on Sunday. Two good championship games playing for the Super Bowl. That ought to be awesome. Barrett-Jackson auction, if you love cars, which I love cars and Harleys and off-road vehicles, boom. It's going to be a really good weekend. All right, and I'll see you Sunday night. And we'll do it all over again. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.